He go in there, all I heard was like, oh, oh. Like fire came out that movie's mouth. I shook off that shit.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode number 25 of the Underdogs podcast. My name is Jordan Daly. We got NBA vets Craig Smith and Mike Taylor, as always. Say what's up, guys.
What up?
What's going on, world?
Craig, gotta pass it over to you to introduce our guest today, our very special guest today.
All right, man. We got a very, very special guest, especially for the month of Black History. I want to introduce to you guys Lloyd Bernard Free, a.k.a. World B Free, an NBA All-Star. He was noted as the man before LeBron James that saved Cleveland, one of the greatest scorers in NBA history, the Prince of the Mid-Air, the Brownsville Bomber, Mr. World B Free. Thank you for coming on the Underdogs podcast. We really appreciate this. This is dope.
Well, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you guys having me on, And like I was telling my brother, I was like, hey, in light of what's going on, man, it's great that you guys are doing what you're doing. You getting in touch with the Black History Month. And, a lot of times, a lot of our young people just are not following it enough, to realize how important, how special we are as, Black people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I appreciate it. Definitely.
Man. Let's get it, man. Not just the city, the world.
Well, we're still doing this thing over here. I'm with the 76ers, and I'm the ambassador here, and still go around and do a lot of things with the kids and try to teach them success, failures, education, the whole 9 yards. And being that I was basically a victim of all of it, as far as, not having that success when I came up. And as far as doing the things that I did and got a chance that God blessed me with the talent to go ahead and move me from my surroundings from Brownsville and doing what I had to do to go ahead and make it once I got out, to go ahead and try to make a little change. If you could touch one person, you touch somebody,
Yeah.
Indeed. So we're gonna hop right into it. I kind of just want to talk about your upbringing. How was it growing up in Savannah? How was your household, your family dynamics, your siblings, and just walk us through, how your upbringing was.
I was born in Savannah, Georgia, but I was raised in Brooklyn. As an infant, my mom moved from Savannah and moved me into Brooklyn. And so my grandfather and grandmom still were in Savannah with her mom and dad. Mom and dad. So when I was born, all I knew was the projects, because when they took me up there, basically, we went back down south. We went down for a couple of days just to see her parents. But I was a baby, but most of my experience was in New York, 90% of it, and I had a good time. Moms and my father were great. They try to do the best they could with us. We went through all the things that people go through in the inner city. And when they far as got me from out of Georgia and I went up to New York, it was like a different world. From the south over back down there to the north, going up to in New York, and it was just a whole different world. And the one thing I appreciated about it was that it grew me up pretty fast.
So talking about high school basketball in Brooklyn, how was the climate in that era, right? You been in Brooklyn in high school, that's like the mecca of basketball, a lot. So how was it for you growing up?
Well, the climate was very, very tough. I played against some of the best high school players that played this game that could have made professional ranks. Maybe something happened with them going different ways. But we had guys in there that I played against coming up was like James Fly Williams, Phil Sellers from Rutgers, Pearl Washington, and all those guys were, they were young. Pearl was younger, but he learned from us watching us play. But I tell you one thing though, it was just a whole lot of talent. There was a whole lot of competition in that park. We played in 66 Park. It was a park where I remember when I first started basketball. I couldn't play, but I could jump about 44 inches off the ground. Though, I can get up there, and but I couldn't shoot. Couldn't shoot. And I remember the big guys, the older guys. Always I used to always have my ball come to the park and wait for them to finish because they never let me play because I wasn't good. But I could jump. So one day they had, they asked me to play because they didn't have any men. I mean, they actually looked around the whole park before they asked me to play. And I was like, I was a little dude, but I was strong. So I remember, them asking me to play, and I remember going up on one of the big guys, like really strong because I could jump. So I was an underneath post kind of player, at 6 feet at that time. But I'm getting over him. I scored a basket. So old dude said, "Hey, young fella, hey, you going up a little strong there. You might have something. Then he told me that, and I said, well okay. It's the old dude telling me something because they never let me play. So,
Yeah.
so I took that and I ran with it. So I remember because when I was in junior high school out there, I got cut twice from my junior high school team, and all I could do was jump though.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so I remember going to Canarsie High School where we won the championship my second year in there, and went 24-0. We was ranked real hard. Had a good team. A guy named O'Neal Tarrant was my running backcourt mate, and it was a great high school team, and nobody ever expected us to win. So I was always like in an underdog situation with my life as far as basketball was concerned, because nobody really expected me to do anything. But I was one of those guys that I fought with it. I just stayed with it. When somebody told me I can't do something, I go for it.
Love that.
Especially if it's something positive.
So after high school, what was your recruiting like for college?
Well, I was all American, all everything, because we won the city championship in New York, and they were coming at me from everywhere. And this is a pretty funny story. Now, the coach, I had a best friend though named Greg Jackson, was a guy who I looked up to, as an old head, and
Yeah.
he was still about like 4 years ahead of me, but he went to this small school called Guilford College in Greensboro, North Carolina. So, I had college coaches, college scouts, everybody just coming to my mom's house in the projects, just knocking our door down. And this all the schools, Long Beach State, Arizona, Arkansas. Everybody was coming at me. So, and at that time, we wasn't doing well, but people offered my
Yeah.
mom's money and give me my house. We
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
take care if you get your son to our school. So, my mom was like, they butting her up. So I remember this
Yeah.
little coach from Guilford College. Guilford College had like 1,000 students in it. It's very small. Nobody even knew about it. And I remember this coach coming. He was a little dude, little dude. He had like a trench coat on, like Columbo back in the old days. You're a little young. I don't know if you'll know about
Columbo.
Columbo.
I know Columbo, but I was gonna say Candyman.
I'm feeling you. yeah. I feel you. But he had the Columbo look though, right?
Okay. Yep.
And so he got to the up to my apartment where we were, you know, he knocked on the door. So I said, "Mom," I call her my mother because she's told her to never call her mom because she don't like that calling her
Yeah.
mom,
Yep.
call her mother. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So my
Yep.
mother, yeah. So my mother was we opened the door for him. So I'm standing by the door because I know all these big time colleges came to be talking to my mom.
Yeah.
And so I knew this guy was going to be coming out that door in about like a good 5 minutes, getting in there. So we opened it, I let him in. So he's sitting on the couch. I'm still standing by the door. So standing by the door, I know this guy's getting ready to come on around here and I got to close the door on him.
Yeah.
So about 20 minutes go by, about an hour go by. Next thing you know, I'm in Guilford College. And I said, and this guy, they couldn't, they wasn't offering what everybody was offering them. And
Yeah.
I said, mother, I said, what's up? She said, you're going to Guilford College. I said, what? I said, Guilford College. I said, what? She said, you're going to Guilford College. I said, okay. And I said, well, what convinced you for me to do that? She said, well, let me tell you something. All of the coaches came in here. They gave me a pitch for this, gave me a pitch for that. They gave me a pitch for everything. But she said, what this coach said, look, we're a small school, and I'll tell you two things that we will do for your son. We'll give him an education, and she said, and he told her that we would love him. My mom said, you're in Guilford College, buddy. That's where I went. And my bag packed. I was out of there, you know what I mean? And those people treated me very, very well down there, very well. So that's the story of the college scene,
Yeah,
But,
that's nice.
but went down there, had a lot of fun. I mean, the people really, really enjoyed it. And at that time, in the 70s, time when I used to watch Roots. I watched Roots on TV. And I was scared to go south because I never went south after I was just born in it, you know what I mean? But I never really liked the south. I went back to it because, I heard about all these things. And then after that picture came out, Roots, I said, I'm not going down there. You know what I mean? Nobody know me. I'm, I'm a buck, So all that stuff, man. And when I got down there, all that, it was nothing like that, where I was. I mean, it was like, things are there, but it didn't bring it to where we were.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest time.
Where was Guilford? Where was that? Where was it located?
That was in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, right in Greensboro. So
Greensboro.
they had good country food down there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if you were thin when you left Brooklyn, you were heavy when you got back. You know what I mean? So that's when I basically started putting on some weight there. You know what I mean? Getting a little buff with my game. So when I got into the pros, everything was working.
Now, speaking of the South, you're known for being inspiring for social justice reform. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Well, being that I seen things that were kind of bad, and from the time that I went down there, and my mom and them were when I figured I was going back down to Savannah, Georgia, until I was at least my grandfather and them died and everything, but I was going down for like at least good 6 years, and got to see more things than I wanted to see out there, but it was so different. And I just thank God for the change of a lot of things in this world. I mean, even though it's still the same, but it's not the same way it was. It's covered up a lot different. So I pray every day. That things can change. And when I changed my name legally from Lloyd Be Free to World Be Free, it was for a reason. People thought that I changed my name because I was some kind of arrogant little basketball player that wanted to do this and do that back then. But it wasn't that way. You see, for what I saw throughout my lifetime, it was a thing that I said, look, if I ever make it or be successful, I want to change my name from Lloyd to World Be Free. And Be Free is my father's biological given name. So that wasn't made up. So my middle name is Bartholomew.
Okay.
World Bartholomew Free, one of the saints. So, but I couldn't put Bartholomew across my jersey in the back with free and all that. It wouldn't have worked. You know what I'm saying? So I had to change it, change up, put the B there, ad-libbed a little bit, and that's what I did. But it was like I just wish the world could be free one day, man. And that's why I changed that name like that.
That's awesome.
And then I'll tell you another story. When I did change it, I remember we were in Dallas, and that stuff was still going on. And I remember my coach Al Addles, because I was with the Golden State Warriors, asked the announcer, look, he changed his name from Lloyd to World. So when you announce him, call him World Be Free. That's his name now. So the announcer was was like, he wasn't going to do it. I mean, he was like furious. So they called the starting line up. They called Joe Barry Carroll, Bernard King, all to the start till they get to me. So he got to me. He was like, Lloyd free. So I didn't get out. I didn't get up, right? So, and he'll say it again. He was like, Lloyd's free. So I sat right there. Almost did a Kaepernick, but for a different reason, you know? But my name was World Be Free. I legally changed my name. Now we get into the game. So, because I'm hot now because this guy was just like totally disrespecting me. And that's the wrong thing to do to me when I'm on the basketball court. So I put my energy that was in him on the court. So I started hitting shots from everywhere. Boom, 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 doing what I do best. So next thing you know, now here he goes. He's like Lloyd free, Lloyd free. So I'm banging him. I'm just killing him now. Now after when the game got towards the end, we're up, and I hit about like a good 7, 8 in a row from anywhere on the court. And after a while, because the crowd was even on my side, then the guy was like, and I hit one long one. I remember I just falling out of bounds. Then he was like, "World be free." He just, he gave it up. He was like, he gave it up. So every time I went to that Dallas place, I dogged him.
You that kind of remind me of Muhammad Ali when he first changed his name, right? And they was like kept on calling him clashes.
Yeah.
And he
Mm-hmm.
transferred that energy and he was in that ring like, what's my name?
Yeah,
What's my name?
exactly right, young fella. That's how it was too. You know what I mean? And another guy who used to do that kind of stuff to irritate you was a guy by the name of Norm Nixon with the Los Angeles Lakers. You know what I mean?
Nixon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had fun with Norm. Only because you fueled me. You can't. They always say let a lion sleep. I'm gonna come in and play. But when you just put a little more on me, game over. You know what I mean?
Game over.
Game over.
You talked about that transfer energy. That's a positive tool. That's a superpower. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
And knowing how to transfer that energy. You know what I'm saying? That
Oh
love,
yeah, oh yeah,
hate to
oh
love.
yeah. Hey, you guys played before. Y'all know what it's about. Some of you, so you go to the park when somebody come against you, and you like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna just dog me, are you? You know what I mean? You got to go for it.
Yeah.
And that's me, brother. I go for it. See, I'm one of them kind of guys that I was on always. They put me on teams after I left the 76ers, a great team in '77. After I left them. And I left them in '79 and went to the Clippers, where I averaged over 30 points a game. And then my average up there was like 29 something, with the Clipper team. And these people, they put me on one All-Star team. You know what I mean? And they tried to change my game around, tell me what they wanted me to do. Because look, you got to stop. We want you to do this and do that with my game. But I kept my game the same way, but I calmed it down because I could have been more prolific in my scoring if I didn't, just pay attention to what they were saying. So, I was always the second leading man on my team in assists. I was always like third in there in rebound. I was always in there, but I wasn't the kind of guy that fit their mold in this league. So, what I mean, they never really they put me underneath a shelf. I'm good with it because I know my peers know who I am. You know what I mean? And then they know what happens with me, what happened with me. So, but it's that thing kind of like burnt me for a while. Then what I mean? I found God, and God told me, look, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? You did your thing because you touched a whole lot of people in this world. You know what I mean? And that's bigger than anything that any of them could ever give me.
Absolutely.
Want to rewind a little bit. You end up finishing off a great college career. You win the national NAIA tournament. You get MVP as a freshman. You played through your junior year, and you got to play alongside ML Carr, which is crazy. That's so cool for me. But following all of that, what was your draft process like? What was kind of the NBA draft process like back then? And can you kind of walk us through your experience with that?
Well, coming out of Guilford College, I came out of school early on a hardship case, so I left early, and the Sixers, my agent was telling me that were interested in picking me up. It was the Sixers and it was the Celtics. So I was the 25th pick overall. Excuse me, the 23rd pick overall in the draft. When I went to Philadelphia for that draft, Darryl Dawkins. You guys heard that name before, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Chocolate Thunder.
yeah. Darryl Dawkins. He was drafted number 1, and I was drafted number 2 for the Sixers. And we became best friends, like brothers from another mother. You know what I mean? That's what we became. And the thing about it, this guy, he was 18 when he came out of high school. We used to play 1-on-1 together, me and him. Think about it. This guy's like 7 feet, 455 pounds. You know what I mean? I'm a little dude, and I'm up. He up here shooting jumpers on me though when we first met. So I'm told him, I'm like, look, man, you're gonna make it in this league. You can't be shooting jumpers on a guy like me. You gotta be dogging me, man. Dogging me. Like you can't be like doing that. So he kind of like he got into it, right, and started seeing where I was coming from because he was like a gentle giant.
Yeah.
And I said, look, let me tell you something, buddy. You got them big old hands, man. You could be dunking that ball on people. Because I'll try to go to the basket on them and dunk, right? And he'd be looking at my little ass getting up there trying to do it. And he'd be like, man, he's trying to dunk on me. You know what I mean? I remember when he finally got it. We were in the Sunny Hill Baker League, and he finally got who he was, how strong and what he was about.
Yep,
Man, he
yep.
was dunking on people, man, like it was like water. Then making names of the dunks out. As he up there doing it. You know what I mean? This man was it was impossible. But it was a great experience for me to be with the Philadelphia 76ers and, having a friend like that, going on our destination where we're going. But it was good time, a lot of fun. We enjoyed ourselves. You know what I mean?
So, sorry, I just got a couple questions out of Philly. One,
Sure, yeah.
I'm a Cali guy. Was Raymond Lewis there when you guys was there? And is that story true about him and Doug Collins?
I was there when Raymond Lewis. I was a rookie. When Raymond Lewis, yeah. When Raymond Lewis there, yeah. What did you hear?
They said they played like 1-on-1. He gave Doug Collins 60 because they talked about the money, and Doug was getting like 200 a year or something like that, and they was trying to get Raymond like like 100, I don't know, like over 100,000 for sure, almost close to 200,000, but it wasn't 200,000. Mm-hmm. So then they played like 1-on-1 or something like that, and he just like got at him.
Well, I was there when those things were going on, and but I like I said, I was a rookie. But Raymond Lewis at that time, he came back, and he wasn't the Raymond Lewis that they said that he was when he was doing what he was doing. So I didn't get to see that Raymond Lewis, but I seen that he did have some skills.
Okay.
But Doug's defense was, is suspect. Anyway.
So who won? Who won the game? What was the one? So the 1-on-1 was true.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but see, everybody played 1-on-1 in
Yeah.
We would get in the gym, we come practice. After practice, we play 1-on-1 against each other. But we did that, and it was good for the game.
So in the 1-on-1 battles,
yeah.
Like I want to hear some of these 1-on-1 battles. Like who would you get to play, or who did
I played Doc.
Play again? Oh,
yeah. That's what I said too. Yeah. So me and Doc, we were good buddies together. Well, Doc older than I am, but Doc used to be the legend. He's a legend.
Yeah,
the legend. You know what I mean? And when I was a rookie, it was Doc's 6th year in the league. And Doc came to the 76ers from the ABA, and I was a rookie at that time. And see, so I used to drive Doc back and forth from New York to the practice in Philly because he just moved up there, but he wanted to take care of stuff. But he asked, he said, well, I'm young and everything. You ride down, you drive me down. And he don't know. He was like, he's a legend. I'm like, he don't know. I'm like, damn right, I'll drive you down. Man, Were you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? So I get Doc. I was like, Doc, and Doc had that big old afro, man. And you drive, you can't see out the passenger side of the window. When you driving, because that afro, man, is huge. And so I'm like, yo, Doc. I'm like, you all right? Everything good? When he came to the car, he said, yeah, well, we just got to get down. And so I said, all right. I had this big old long Lincoln. Back in the day, we had the long Lincoln with the long
stretch,
front.
yeah.
The front so long. That's right. It take you 30 minutes to turn that bad boy. I'll wheel it though. You know what I mean? I'll wheel it. Man, you know I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? So when we get around there, we get on the turnpike. We get on that turnpike, right? And I'm riding down there, because I'm late. So I'm hitting about like 75 on the turnpike. And I'm rolling. And then cops pull me over. They pull me over. Damn. So, I'm pull over. Cop look at me like, yo, license registration, dude. I'm like, oh, that's it. He gave me my license registration. He said, you're speeding, right? I said, yes, sir, officer. I said, I'm speeding because I was late. I'm late for practice. So he said, he looked at me like, late for practice? So what are you talking about? He said, get out of the car. So I get out the car. I'm on the hood. He took, get over there on the hood. I'm on the hood. He said, I got to write you up, man, big time. I said, officer, look, I'm serious. I'm late for practice. He said, what do you, I said, I'm with the 76ers basketball team. He said, 76ers? Yeah. I said, yeah, man. I said, I got Dr. J in the car right there. You know what I mean? So he said,
real.
yeah, he said, you got Dr. J in the car? I said, yeah, I got Dr. J in the car right there. He's sleeping. He always sleeps when we ride down here. He said, he said, you ain't got no doctor. So he said, you wait right there. So I wait right there. Next he go walk over to the car. He looks in there. He said, oh, that is the doc. He said, that's the doc. That's the doc. Oh my goodness. He said, he said, don't wake him up. Don't wake him up. Get behind me. He said, get behind me, and I'll get you to exit 4 where you need to go. You know what I mean? Now, look, that's the first time
That's dope.
that I followed a cop car in the front of it. In the front of it. No,
For
I'm in
real.
the back of that bubble. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this is great, man.
Hey, for real.
That's the first time you got that privilege, huh?
Yeah. And I said, this is great, man. Fantastic. I told Doc, I said, Doc, we owe a cop an autograph, man. He said, he gave it to him too. You know what I mean? But it was, man, good time though. Good time.
That's dope.
You got to have fun and enjoy it. Wally Jones he used to play with the Sixers too. He's an older player, but he told me when I was a rookie. And I was walking downstairs one time, and I was upset because I guess I missed a shot or something. But I was upset. And he looked at me, he said, hey, young fella, let me tell you something. You ought to be having fun. And I'm like, fun? I just missed my shot,
Yeah.
He's like, that's small things to where you're going to be, And he was right. So, I mean, you can't put all that pressure on yourself. Just like life. You can't put all that pressure on yourself. You know what I mean? Not good for you.
You had massive jump from your rookie season to your second season, and then again in your fourth year. Like, what changed?
Well, when I got traded from the Sixers to the Clippers, that's when Gene Shue used to be my head coach with the 76ers, but he got fired from the Sixers, and he had became the coach of the San Diego Clippers. And when he became the coach of the San Diego Clippers, Billy Cunningham was the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers at that time, and Billy, we just didn't get along together, So he got me out of there, and Gene picked me up, and Gene said, "Look, world, I'm gonna give you this team. It's an expansion team." And I had to go ahead and win myself over on those guys. We had like guys that were good on that team that had their own teams. So you had to work that kind of way into you work your way into getting to where they were. So where you needed to be. So it took a minute, but we gradually got where we needed to be. And for a expansion team, we almost made the playoff that year by half a game. I remember Marvin Barnes. You ever heard that name?
I have not.
But you'll look that up.
We're going to look that up. I'm going to look that right now.
We got some homework.
Oh yeah, that was a great
Look at that
player.
right now.
Now Marvin Barnes was one of the baddest boys that came out of college that playing in the pros. Bad boy. Okay. Now we were in the game, and I remember Marvin was in that game, and we could have made the playoffs if you'd have hit that shot though. But, but
That's him. World.
huh?
Is that him?
Marvin Barnes. That's him. That's my boy. Marvin. So with Marvin, we were about a 1 point game down. You know what I mean? We killing them, trying to get trying to get to that playoffs. And so by the time we in the game is like about 3 seconds left on that clock. Fourth quarter, coming down. I'm shaking and baking and doing what I do.
Yeah.
So I seen Marvin like wide open, like about 2 feet from the basket, you know what I mean? And so I go up like I'm shooting the jumper. So everybody jumped at me that was on defense, but I took the ball and threw it down at Marvin. And Marvin's like right there by the basket. So the basket was about like 2 feet away from him, but he shot it like 1 feet.
Mm.
And the ball like he just didn't go nowhere,
Oh, here?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So we get in the locker room after the game, Marvin says, "Yo, World, come here, man." I said, he said, "Yo, World, out of everybody on that court, why you had to throw the ball to me?" I said, "Marvin, you were open. And you were right under the basket." He said, "You shouldn't have thrown the ball to me, World." He said, "You shouldn't have threw that ball to me, man."
That's hilarious.
But Marvin is a great dude, but he didn't play basketball, and we picked him up. Matter of fact, like one of 10-day contracts, and he hasn't played basketball like 10 years. When they picked him back up. But I shouldn't have put him under that pressure. But he was open though.
I didn't know they had 10-day contracts back then.
Yeah, I didn't either.
No, it wasn't really a 10-day contract. It was like one of those contracts. Back then, I think you made up contracts. I don't know how they did it, but he wasn't on the team. He wasn't on the team very long with us. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Shout out Marvin Barnes with the Providence.
Yeah.
Big East.
Big. That's it. Yeah.
Shout out to the Clippers too, man. Both of them.
Shout out to the Clips.
For the Clippers too. So yeah. Man.
Well, they had the Kawhi Leonard there now, right? And he was going because I'm the number one scorer to have average over 30 in that there for the most games. Like my record was 28 30-point games, just keep back to back though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Kawhi had 26. He was going for it at one time, but so I'm still number one over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that record is the most consecutive games with 30 or more?
Yes.
That's dope. I'm gonna be on Baller Vision here pretty soon. And I'm gonna make sure get in there.
Okay. No, it's real. It's real. It was a good time though back then, and playing that ball. Then from there, I had to go to the Golden State Warriors, where I had another opportunity. But every time I came into franchises, they were franchises that were rebuilding again. They wasn't really kicking it, because that's how they wanted to. That's how they did me. They had a thing in the NBA, Stop World Be Free Night. Because when I was scoring over 30 a game, they had like a sign up. If you stop World Be Free with getting his points, you get yourself free popcorn. Yeah. But they did that. They did it on me.
Wow.
But people were trying to stop it. Huh? Yeah, still couldn't stop it. They were trying to kill me too now, because the people were like, get him,
popcorn.
Yeah. They were trying to kill me though, but I wouldn't get my 30-some points. But that couldn't do it. No, man. I told them, yo, stop. That didn't. They did it in about 3 places: L.A., Utah, and somewhere else. They was doing that. That Stop World Be Free Night. But that was almost to me like a bullseye you was putting on my head, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
So your year with the Clips, right? With the San Diego Clips, where you averaged over 30. How was that experience? Like, how was San Diego at the time? Like, how was it overall? Like, cause we know we both played for, the Clippers when we dealt with certain ownership. And I know you were at the beginning of that. So like,
Yeah.
just how was that experience in general?
When I first came there from Philly, I'll tell you the truth. It was like about 1,000 people in the stands. But like no, it's an expansion team. Nobody really, it was you could bounce the ball. The same way like Cleveland, you could bounce the ball and you could hear echo. You know what I mean? Always. So and everywhere we went, it was because nobody knew that team and the way it was, wasn't getting the support. So by the midway through the season, crowd started getting big because we started winning. We winning games. You know what I mean? In exciting ways. So the crowd started getting bigger. And then by like the end of the season, so then they're selling out that place. You know what I'm saying? And I stayed there for 2 years, and I was going to be a free agent, but they didn't want to re-sign me. And
Wow.
that was crazy. You know what I mean?
Who was on your team?
We had Sidney Wicks, Swin Nader, Randy Smith,
Randy
Brian
Smith.
Taylor.
B. Taylor, yeah. B. Taylor.
We had Nick Witherspoon that used to play with Washington back then.
Jelly Bean played with y'all?
Jelly Bean played too. Jelly Bean played that second year. Jelly Bean came because I was there for 2 years. That second year, yeah.
Did Bill come at that time or no? He was still.
Bill came the second year. Yeah,
okay.
Bill. I got a chance to play with Bill, man, and I tell you, for the 20 games, 25 games that me and him played together, we could have did it. That guy, I tell you, that guy, man, he was unbelievable. Bill Walton was the baddest white boy I've seen play basketball in a long time. I ain't never seen nobody play like this man. And I tell you the truth, he was the first guy I seen when I was in college, and I was watching him, right? Because he's about like 3 years older than I am. But I was watching him in college, and I was watching him catch people's stuff out the air, man, like catch it out the air while they shooting layups or jumpers, catching it, but keeping it in play, and bam, throwing it down for people to get some layups and stuff like that. But he knew what he was doing. Awkward guy, but man, guy can play.
High IQ,
Very high IQ, man. He knew what he was doing out there on that basketball court. I tell you, and I loved playing with him. Loved playing with him. He was very smart, very smart.
So you finished second in the scoring title race to George Gervin. Was that something you really was trying to battle with him, or you was just out because you just knew you could get buckets? Like, was there a thing in your head like, I gotta see if I can get you George?
Now, I was the kind of guy, I wanted that scoring title, that first one, you know what I mean? But he always had the last games. So if I got 25, he can get 26 and be able, because he only beat me by like a fraction of a point, you know what I mean?
He told us that story when we had him on. He told us that story of that night when he beat you.
He did?
Yeah, he walked us through.
He be having the last games.
Yeah.
If I had the last game, I'm gonna put it up. He might as well go ahead and go to sleep because you ain't getting.
We gotta talk to him. How you get the last games all the time?
So he knew the system. You know what I'm saying? Because I damn sure would have got him. I tell you that right now. But he one of the baddest boys that ever done it, man. That George Iceman Gervin, one of the baddest. And he was the hardest guy for me to ever stop. I couldn't stop him because he was so long. He was just so long. I couldn't stop that guy.
And then can you just talk about his shot of the finger roll, like how and then you know what? I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save it. Yeah, I gotta say that. I'm gonna save it. So let's go to the next question.
So don't give me no nightmares when you're talking about that finger roll. So because I've seen a couple of them.
Nah, not a nightmare. It's something cool, but I'm gonna leave it for the next segment. It's on you, Jay.
All right. So you were playing in the league
you.
When they added the 3-point line. How did that kind of change the game, and what were the adjustments you kind of felt like you had to make with that?
Well, I was normally shooting for 3 points before 3 point was there on that.
Wow.
I would take a shot as soon as I came in the building. So so
Yeah,
I was rolling, my brothers. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
was about having fun,
Yeah.
enjoying it. But when the 3 point shot came in, I remember Brent Musburger. He was on we was on CBS,
Mm.
and we were playing. Was that the Lakers? We were playing the Lakers, and Brent Musburger was like, "Oh, I'll bet you $25 the first one's going to hit the first three is going to be worldly free." That's Brent Musburger. And he
Yeah.
hyping it up. You know what I mean? So my boys
Yeah.
back in Brownsville telling me like, "Yo, world, they saying that you're going to be the first one to hit the three." I was like, "Yeah." Okay. So you know what I mean? But I took about two threes that day. That game. I remember.
Yeah.
But one went around and just went around. It came out. But do you know who the first guy to hit that
Yo,
3 point shot?
who?
Was a guy by the name of Chris Ford with the Boston Celtics. He just
There we
passed, but
go.
his name is Chris Ford for
Yeah,
the
Chris
Boston.
Ford. Yep, Chris Ford. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
the
a coach
first one.
too. Chris was a coach.
Yeah, that's right. He was coach. He was Boston
He was a
Celtics coach,
coach.
and he coached for the Sixers for a minute. But he
Yep.
was the first
Yep.
one to hit it. And you know how many points Chris had? 3 points. Made history. I never knew nobody could make history for 3 points.
For real.
That's awesome.
Yeah, made history. I'm telling you. So it was real though. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So following that,
Oh.
like you said, you had your 2 years with Golden State, and then you move on to Cleveland. You often get credited for saving basketball in Cleveland. Can you kind of walk us through that story and why they say that?
Well, that was another place where I was traded from the Golden State Warriors. I remember they didn't even tell me when I came to the gym. They called me and told me you're traded. And
Mhm.
so had to get on the flight to get there within 48 hours, or your contract void. You know, so I get on the flight. I go to Cleveland because they traded me for Jim Brewer. I get to Cleveland, and at that time, people were saying nobody want to go to Cleveland. You go to Cleveland, man. You might as well
Yeah.
die. I mean, all that kind of stuff. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I'm like, nah, man, it ain't gonna be that way, man. I just
No.
can't let it happen. You know what I mean? So I still have a little ammunition in my gun, so I mean, I could still shoot my jumper. So I get
Nice.
there.
Sound like you was going to Gotham City.
Yeah, no doubt, right? Well, it felt like that way everybody was talking about it. You know what I mean? Man, it's like
Yeah.
you don't want to go to Cleveland. I'm like, yeah, no. I said, no, I'm going because I know this is how they got me anyway. A guy who
Yeah.
rebuilt franchises. You know what I mean? So I
Yep.
expect nothing different when they traded me. You know what I mean? I knew they were going to trade me to no good team. I knew they're going to trade me to somewhere where they think that I'm going to quit and just walk out. But I wasn't going to do that. So the thing is, when I got there, I remember at the airport, it was one reporter at the airport. So I get off the plane. Reporter's like, "Hey, world, how you doing?" I'm saying, "Yeah, I'm doing good." He said, "Well, what do you feel about the trade?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Hey, well, it's what it is." I said, "I'm still playing. And, I'm still here." So he says, "Well, that the franchise is all in turmoil. The owners don't know if they're gonna pay you a check. And he says, basically, like, they won 14 games last year. And what can you do? Can you help the franchise? Can you say, So I told him, I said, well, look, I said, if they won 14 games last year, I said, well, I know they're going to win 15 this year because I'm at least going to win them one. So I said, that's a progress. That's a progress that we're going to be going with. So we're going to be winning. So he says, well, we're going to have to, we'll see when it comes. But he said, it's really terrible over there. And I said, no, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. So I put my faith, and my power comes from inside, from God. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, when Jesus he give me the strength, man. He give me the strength. And I'll tell you, and that ain't just no talk. You know what I mean? Because God don't care who win a game. You know what I mean? Or who hits a baseball somewhere. You know what I mean? It's what your belief is. And
Yep.
I'm a strong believer. So I mean, hey, man, you can't stop me as long as I got that with me. So, we went that way. So my first year, we win about like 24 games. All right, I had nothing to work with. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
Not knocking the guys that were on the team at that time. So, but we had a good guard by the name of Jeff Houston. I mean, he was on there. But he just, Jeff he was in the midst of going to another team after that. But we worked hard. It was good hard work with them guys, and I liked it. Then that following year, we had like we had 1,600 fans in there when I first came. Then the following year, we got about like a good 2,700, and that third year, we started pumping it, started getting off, doing our thing. So the crowd started getting in. The Richfield Coliseum, they seated about like good 28,000 something in that place. That was like a big arena. By the time I left, we made the playoffs. That my last year there, we made the playoffs and almost gave Boston a scare because we with Larry Bird and McHale and Dennis and all those guys, we played them to the max. And but that building before I left was sold out completely. And it was like amazing story for where that building came from, where everything came from. Where they thought that Cleveland was going to be nothing no more, but Cleveland became back life, and then LeBron comes after. No matter of fact, before that, then they have Brad Daugherty and those guys come in.
Yeah, Craig Elo and Mark
Craig
Price.
Elo, yeah, Price. They had that group come in, and then LeBron came and took it to the top.
But you still are like the fish that say Pittsburgh in that scenario. Like for real. Like you are the man in that scenario. Like you started it. It was, like we don't get all this other stuff, if it wasn't for you.
Well, they had they honored me with the Wall of Fame last year, and it was a very, very, very nice thing that they did basically. And I was waiting for him. I'm waiting for him to retire that jersey one day. But
I was going to say the statue.
I don't need a statue. I'll take that jersey. I want all my team members who was with that helped me change it, because you can't do nothing alone. You know what I mean? It takes a team. To go ahead and pull them. And we pulled as a team, that group that we had there. And we knew that we were something to be special, at that time. And it was a great time. So Cleveland, I love Cleveland. Cleveland is a place that it adopted me, as a basketball player and as a human being, because, I did a lot of things there. Yeah, so I love Cleveland.
So you got to see the eras, the league going into a different direction. Let's talk, the transition and the transformation. Let's talk about the mid 70s to late 80s, and you seeing what the NBA is becoming into.
Well, they always told me that my game was before its time. So the things that they do now, I was doing, and I talked to Allen Iverson because he's here in Philadelphia with me all the time. When he comes back, and Michael played against Michael Jordan. I got to play against all these guys before.
Magic Bird.
My last Magic Bird. I got to play against all these guys, and it's just I don't know how you can put it, but it's a different time now than it was then, because these guys, they're more athletic as far as running, and they're very long. They're everybody want to shoot a jumper in their mothers. So it's just that the game is just so different, but they can do a lot more as far as with their skills and what they have, because you never really seen guys play like Joel Embiid or guys like Hakeem Olajuwon was doing even back then. The guys that I was seeing, even though I was younger than those guys like Willis Reed, Bob Lanier. I would watch them guys, even though I'm in high school and stuff. But those are typical big men. When you see these guys now, it's like they're all guards. They're 7 foot, but they're guards.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they had that mentality, and nobody want to come out. You think about it. When you come out to the games, we used to come out, and people used to get mad because they missed the 76ers slam dunk line. Because when I was with the 76ers, we had all Doc, everybody, Darryl Dawkins, Joe Bryant, everybody. People got mad when they missed our dunk, when they missed the layup line. They'd be like, did they do the layup line yet? Oh, damn. You know, people got mad when they missed that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we were getting it in, all kind of stuff before the slam dunk
Sure.
competition became, you know? Yeah. So, but these guys, you know, nowadays, they come out and they back 25 feet, almost in the locker room, almost in the tunnel, just shooting. I'm like, well, what happened to the game inside, working on the inside game? But that's the way it is. You know, guys come down on the fast break. Three is better than the layup. So
Yeah.
Positionless basketball. That's the
yeah. There you go. You know what I mean? And then you can't touch nobody. If you touch somebody, man, it's like you committed a crime. Might as well go to jail.
Oh, no, it's like a flagrant too.
You can't touch nobody. I'm like, well, damn, how you gonna play ball? You know. And you know, if you're used to playing it a different way, then you have to change all that mentality to play it different. And then the guys, they were talking about the carrying on the ball. You know, guys carry all the time. They take the ball, you turn it over. You know, but the thing is, it's not a carry no more because it helps the lead to make a lot of people better. I remember Magic Johnson because I first played Magic his first game when he came into the league. You know, and Magic, I went to go ahead and try to reach and steal the ball from Magic, and I had it. The ball was right in front of my face. And this is when showtime was starting to be showtime, right? So I go to, and the game was close. I go to reach for the ball, and Magic took the ball and just put it in that big hand and just put it over my hand. And I was like, wait a minute. And he only needed one step to get to the basket from the foul line because he's 6'9". And I'm like, yo, ref, Pete carrying the ball. I almost felt like I was LeBron for a minute. I was crying, man. Like, yo, man, what's going on with this, man? Had to throw it out there. Not, hey, LeBron, I ain't mean it like that. You know what I mean?
We didn't mean it like that, bro.
you know, Rob be checking out everything.
Yeah, I know Bron checking out though. I know LeBron. LeBron, good kid, man. But you know,
Good people.
Yeah, good, very good people. Very good people.
Sorry to cut you off, but if you could give us just like one line, because we know he's at some point within the next couple of weeks, he's going to be the all-time leading scorer.
Oh, yes, he is.
That's a great accomplishment. Just a few words based on that, because I mean, you got to see Kareem and play with Kareem and his unbelievable shot. I'm getting into the shots again, Jordan. There we go, man.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. What LeBron is doing goes without saying. You know what I mean? When they talk about these GOATs and everything and all that stuff that they talk about nowadays, he up there with every one of them. You know what I mean? The man takes care of his body. You know what I mean? He does what he do. You know what I mean? He's just a unique talent that loved the game. And one thing about LeBron, he don't quit on you. You know, a lot of guys, they quit on you. They just don't give it to you every night. When he steps on the floor, and I got to say it for him, that guy, he comes out to play, and he don't cry like that all the time. He's a man. He's the man. Though. He is the man. I mean, like really. I watch Kobe. I watch everybody's different. Watch Mike. You know, Allen Iverson. You know, I watch all these dudes. Everybody played. And, you know, everybody has a different thing about them. But LeBron, he's up there. He's at the top. He's at the top of the list. And then he's doing it, and he's 38, and he's doing it with these guys that are 25, 26. They still can't stop him. And the jumper got a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, he shoot that jumper on you. You let him shoot it, man. That's it. Game over. And he would throw it down on their head.
Steal.
You know, huh?
I said still, he still get up in the air.
Yeah, he'll throw it down on the head and then give you that funny look. Yeah, he give you that look after they do it, like, So he'll get you now. Oh man, that's my man though. He all right. LeBron's good dude though, and I like what he's doing, what he does. As far as giving back.
Yes, definitely.
That's more important to me too. What he does. And a lot of people don't know what he does. I keep up on him, but he does a lot of good things. You know what I mean? God blessed him with a talent. He used it, and he used it to help other people. And you can't go wrong when you do that.
True.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We have a segment section. I got a segment called Mike's Mental Minute. I just like to get deep into psychology a little bit, into the mind a little bit. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience with racism and human rights and playing through like a major movement in history, like the Civil Rights Act, the Civil Rights Movement?
Well, do I go back in the day on you, or?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, all right.
It's Black History Month, so
yeah.
I that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll give you a little something. I remember when we had the Black Panthers back then, and they had Angela Davis. All the people. It's part of all that, all what's going on back then with blackness, and I had a chance to go ahead and join and get in and be positive for the black people. I seen a lot of things that were racial, very, very racial. Even when I was in junior high school, I went to this school called Bildersey Junior High School, and it's still in my heart and never go away. And I remember because it was out in a white area. My mom had to picket to get black people. We had about like 7 black people in that school and that junior high school because we were out of the district. But my mom marched to get us in the school to get a better education. But the white boys didn't like that were out there, and we used to have to get cops escorts from school to on the other side. And I remember throwing bottles and rocks and at our school bus, and calling us the N word. Um, and you were just frightened to go to school. They wait for you outside. You had with switchblades and everything back then, and you was just scared. You were totally scared as a kid. So I had to endure all that, and just pray. But my mom wanted something better for us, as opposed to just growing up and being in the same place and just not doing and not educating yourself to get better and have yourself a better life for you and your family. So that always bothered me. I mean, almost still to this day, it brings me to if if I wasn't on this phone here, I'll be breaking down a little bit. So it's tough.
Yeah, man. I can only imagine those times back then. Like I can only imagine. So just a little bit more, like seeing where those times, you know what I'm saying, growing up to where it's a different type of oppression. It's a different type of systematic oppression that's being displayed now. But can you kind of like elaborate on the contrast of the different type of what you experienced then to like what's going on in today's world?
Well, the difference to me is that I mean, before, it wasn't covered up. Now it's all covered up. You know what I mean? It's the same way, but it's just it's in the dark now. So I you can see how you know George Floyd's things going on. You see these black cops that just killed a brother. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it don't become a racial thing when it becomes that anymore. It become a human thing. that people just don't even care about like life. They don't care about the other persons. So when I look at stuff, talk about Dr. Martin Luther King wanting peace.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you could go on Martin Luther King Boulevard or in any of these states, and somebody knock your head off. You know what I mean? Kill you.
Smack
And
dead
this
in
is
property. It's right
exactly,
there.
exactly. So I mean, it's a change, but it's just a different kind of change. The way they change it, but it's still there. It ain't gone nowhere, and it ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean?
I can't say which one is worse. It's like the same beast, but now it's like silent. It's in the shadows.
Subliminal. Yeah,
Like,
subliminal.
yeah.
Well, everybody look, everybody is not bad. You know what I mean? As far as
Yep.
the white people, from blacks, you know what I mean. But you have your core that's in there that's just never gonna learn that the way things is. I watched this movie the other day called You People.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta
I just
watch it.
watched that. Yeah.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Oh
Yeah.
man, you know what I mean? Because the difference of who we are as people, but you know what I mean. I tell you, when we die, we all bleed red. I ain't seen nobody bleeding yellow or orange or something. You know what I'm saying? So we all
Yeah,
gonna
for
go,
real.
and we all gonna go. Through that door. Ain't nobody gonna be exempt from going through that door. So you
Yep.
know what I mean? People got to wake up and just smell the coffee, man. Because this is real, and it ain't gonna get no better if we don't get no better.
Man,
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
yeah. Thank you. Tough job.
Yeah.
Tough job. You know what I mean. You can go places, places, and people smiling and they laugh. Then you can go other places and people act like they just killed their mama or something. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
I went to a store maybe like a month and a half ago, just
Mhm.
late night, just to get a change for a 20. He didn't want to give me change for a $20 bill.
Really?
Yeah.
He didn't want to give you the change?
Nope. And it was crazy because it was just in the midst of like the Kyrie situation and everything.
Oh yeah.
And the guy's Jewish, like, but he doesn't
Yeah.
understand. I've lived in Israel for 2 years.
Right.
I
He
got
has
you.
no clue, but he
Yeah.
just sees me, sees my color, doesn't want to give me service.
Yeah. I know. I got you. Hey, it's just like if you walking by, as a black man, if you walking by a woman, a white woman,
Yeah.
with not a racial thing now, but it has to be.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit in there. But if
It
you're walking
is.
by and she has a purse, she's gonna cuff that purse. A black woman gonna cuff it too. But you know what I mean. But she's gonna cuff that purse, put it on the side to see you coming. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That happened to me, and
Or
I'm
they
like,
or they across or they across the whole
uh,
street. I was in college. I used to be walking down the street and I would see white ladies cross the other side of the street when they were seeing me walking down. And I'm in college. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
those little microaggressions and the trauma that is carried on in our people is, man, that's a whole nother episode in itself right now.
Yeah, for real.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And going down to the Guilford College, like I told you guys before, you know what I mean? I thought that, all white people were bad, but it's not that way, man. You know what I mean? It's just not that way. It's a core of people that want to just go ahead and destroy this world that's out here that they're going to be. Them the devils, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Black and white.
For sure.
You know what I mean? They just want to destroy the world. They don't want to be happy. It's like crabs in a pot, man. You put that pot in there, about 300 something, let that water boil, throw them crabs in there, and you see like them fighting to get out, and one try to make it, you see the other crab grab that bad
Grab
boy
that bad
and
boy.
come on back in here. Why should you be successful?
Mm.
You understand?
Yep.
Hey,
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, man, it's just like that, buddy. Shoot, nobody like to see you help the old lady across the street, but they'll say they want to put the news on if that old lady got hit by that car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's all negative. This is it's negative stuff, man. It sells, So That's my thoughts, brother.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Right on time.
Yeah, that's my thoughts, man. But it's deep time, and appreciate you guys doing what y'all do, man. I mean, I see that this could make y'all guys, man, I'll be somewhere. Y'all be on Stephen A. Smith's show. Be on your own show. He said,
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Stephen A. Network. Come on over here.
Oh, no, yeah.
Stephen, there you go. That's my bad, brothers. My bad.
No.
Oh man.
So making the tough transition off that topic, that was very eye-opening, by the way. So I thank you for opening up about that. You're now the community ambassador for the Sixers. How did that role kind of come apart together for you, and kind of walk us through what you do day to day?
Well, that role came about when first John Lucas. You guys heard of John Lucas?
Yep.
Yeah.
Coach of Houston. He was a Philadelphia coach because I did some things with Coca-Cola before I came back into the league, and after I left Coca-Cola and came over to Philly, John was here as a coach. He said, "Well, come on back into basketball." So I said, "All right, yeah, sure, John, I'm gonna come on over to basketball."
But he didn't say it like that. Hey, Hoss, come on, Hoss. What you doing out there, Hoss?
You know, huh? Yeah, you're right. So I get to go over there with him, right? And so he gets there, and let me know we do my thing. He said, "Well, World, what? I don't know what position I'm gonna put you in." He said, "Well, all right, well, let me make you the strength and conditioning coach, right?" So this is how it all started.
Yeah.
So I get in there and try to be the strength and conditioning coach. I didn't know nothing about being the strength and conditioning coach. You know what I'm saying? So I get there. He said, "Well, I want you to work Sean Bradley out. This 7'6" guy named Sean Bradley." So I said, "Okay, you know what I mean." So next thing you know, games go by. You know what I mean. They never seen me stretching Sean Bradley or doing anything. Games go by still. Sean Bradley still as weak as he was when he started with me. So John said, "The world, how you doing with Sean?" You know what I mean? I said, "Oh yeah, John, I'm doing good." Doing good. So Sean was injured one game, and we were over in New York, and Sean we playing the Nets.
Yeah.
So Sean was injured, and I was supposed to be doing stuff with him, helping him rehabilitate. But I was in the stands though, but I had a beer. So, but I was like, I didn't realize, I didn't know I was off work or anything. I thought when the game started, you could get in the stand. I was in there had a beer. So John, they caught me on tape, and John said, "Well, World," he said, "World, how was the workout with Sean?" I said, "Well, John, it went pretty well with me." John said, "But where we seen you on camera, man. You were drinking a beer." I said, "That was a soda. It's Diet Coke." You know what I mean? So I lost that job, by the way. I didn't lose that job. So I went up from there. Tried something else. So Dave Koski, a very, very brilliant man. That was he was the guy with his was, but it was a big title in Sixers organization. So he knew I was leaving from John's stuff. He asked me, "Do I want to do some work with him?" So I said, "Well, what do you want me to do?" So he said, "I want you to help kids. I want you to give them knowledge. Go out there and see, tell them your story." I said, "Okay." I said, "All right." So I tried it, and started it off, and I mean, things started going good at that one moment. Then schools all over the Philadelphia area, Jersey, yeah, was starting to call the Sixers office. We weren't willing to come down. We wanted to speak. We wanted to do his thing, and it blew up from there. And then I started doing camps and clinics, and then they entitled me the ambassador. So and never in 26 years now. So
wow.
I've been in. Yeah, 26 years. So I enjoy what I do. I remember, and
Yeah.
you know what really helped me with this here? It was a kid, right? Now I got stories in my head, but it was this kid. He was about like I figured he was 10, and we had a camp out there. And normally with our camps, our summer camps, it was a summer who's tour we called it. So we have kids come out, we give them presents, give them prizes and gifts after they work out. So this one kid, I called him out, and I called these other kids to play like 3-on-3, against us, against our staff. And so the kids were out there and everything. So game was over. About like 500 kids out there. So this lady, she comes over to me, right, and she says, "Mr. Free, Mr. Free." She said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" I thought she wanted an autograph or something. I was getting ready to give her an autograph, but she said, no, no, I just want to thank you. I've never seen this lady from Adam. Never seen her. She said, "You picked my son out of the crowd," and she said, and he lost his father about a week ago, and he had a smile or said it word, since then. And she said, "That's the first smile I've seen on my son's face since his dad died." And she said, "I want you to know that you guys are doing a great thing. You never know who you touch." And that's when
Yep.
God comes into my mind. You see,
Yep.
you just don't know who you touch. I didn't know that kid. Out of them 500 kids, I just told him, "Yo, you come on out of here." You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he came out, and he was having a good time. She said, "That's the best time." She said, "I just want to thank you for it."
That's awesome.
That's so
Yep.
dope.
So,
So what this ambassador stuff does, it goes and it touches the whole community. And uh,
purpose.
they gave me a like a key to the city, here in
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
That's
So
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, so I'm happy. Like I said, God is good, man. I had a heart attack, man, about like 7 years ago, and it was a major heart attack. And I remember going into the hospital. I get in there because they told me to come in for a stress test, but I realized I had a little burning in my chest, but I didn't really feel like nothing was wrong with me. So I go to the hospital, and they told me the next day they'll give me a stress test. So that next morning, about 6:30, 7 in the morning, I had to wake up get ready for the stress test. So this doctor came in, big guy, about like 6'5". You know, he had like blue eyes. He had like he had blondish hair. Um, he came in and said the word. "How you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm doing okay, doc." He said, I want you to know, you got to go take the stress test, and let's get it out the way." I said, "Okay, I'm ready." So next thing you know, about 2 seconds later, after because he started talking about he started talking about basketball first, and I was like telling him about the team and everything's looking good. And then talking with that, I started seeing spots in my eyes. Spots was coming from everywhere. And I said, "Doc," I said, "I'm seeing spots, like black spots that come, in my eyes." He said, told the nurse lady, he said, "Hey, give me some nitro right now." So she gave me the nitro, put the nitro in, and then she said, "Look," he said, "calm down." I was kind of like panicking a little bit, and next thing you know, I was on the like ER. I was on that thing, man. They were rolling me into the emergency room for surgery, and so when I got in there, I didn't realize what was really happening to me, but I knew I was gone. But the same doctor was like, "Don't worry about it. Look, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be all right." So they put stents and everything in my body. So I had to go back. I'm getting a little emotional, but I had to go back because they didn't get it all where where my heart was clogged. So they had to put another stent. They could go back in me and put another stent in. And then after, But I come out, but the doctor's like, "You're gonna be all right. Don't worry about it. Everything gonna be all right." The same doctor in that surgery room, he walked through there, and so after it was all over, you know what I mean, and say a year came down the pipe, really like 6 months. Look down the thing, I had to nurse myself back and everything. My mother prays like crazy, and um, I come to the hospital because I wanted to thank that doctor. I said, I asked the people in the administration. I said, "Can I speak to the doctor that took care of me? You know, giving me that encouragement, telling me that I was going to be all right." I said, "Yeah, he's about 6'5". He works in that department right there. 6'5". Yeah, he's about big, got blue eyes. He's like brownish blue eyes he had, and I said he has like blonde hair. I said he's about 6'5". He said he works here. He works the job, and the lady said, world. We don't have nobody that work here in that fits that description. I said, yeah, yes, you do. I said, he works in here. And she said, I'm sorry, really, we don't have nobody that fits that description here.
Wow.
And my mom to this day, and I never knew who that guy was.
Wow.
So it's a God, man.
Miracle work.
That's
It's a
crazy.
God, brother.
Definitely. And I'm glad you got through that. You know what
Thank
I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's
Thank
a
you.
heart touching. That's a
scary
heart.
time.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you guys. Definitely.
All right. So comparing your stats, do you feel like you were robbed of the Hall of Fame?
Yes, I believe I was, but I knew they wasn't gonna never like pick me in that because the fact that I wasn't their kind of guy. You know, I was a guy like you were talking about, like Muhammad Ali would say, "I'm gonna knock you out in the fourth round." You know what I mean? With the
Yeah.
big mouth. You know, and I was that kind of guy. I was coming out there, and I just didn't. I think that my problem with them was that I was always on the other side. Like always went back to Brownsville after every season. Always went back, talked about my people right there, and
Yeah.
that. And I never changed. You know what I mean? And the thing about it, I can go into Brownsville, was like the number one capital place in murder in the world, and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody touched my cars, anything, and I had the best cars out there. You know, at that time, doing what I did, nobody was bothering my stuff. Everybody would. I could go in the apartment. They knew I had some money. You know, what I mean, nobody done nothing to me. If anything, everybody was with me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know, so and that's why, you know, I believe, that I just didn't fit their bill. You know what I mean?
You was a voice for the voiceless in that area. Like,
Yeah.
I probably would have known about that area if it wasn't for the blueprint that you laid out. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, guys like Pearl Washington and Jerry Heiserls and those guys, the younger fellas that made it after I did, and you have Mustafa Muhammad that used to, the Otis Wilson guys that were Chicago Bears. All these guys be under me, but you know what I mean. They knew that I came back all the time, and they did the same thing after they made it because I took them where I was and let them see that look, it's a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 It's a way.
Did you ever play against Pee Wee Kirkland?
No, Pee Wee. I didn't get to play against Pee Wee, but I seen him. You know.
I seen him. I seen him.
I seen him.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, he everything that they said he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he everything, man.
The real deal.
I remember this guy. We was up in the Rucker Pros in Harlem,
Uh-huh.
and because I used to be one of the guys that was sitting up in them trees watching Julius Erving, play when he was playing. Right?
Yeah.
It used to be like thousands of people out in the park. I mean, no crime was happening when the game was on, when the doc and that kind of and the action was going on in that park at that time. You know what I mean? In
Wow.
Harlem, a rough spot. You know. But it
Yeah.
was like mega basketball. You know, if you played in there, you came to play. And I just remember them times, man. Unbelievable. And Pee Wee Kirkland. And they had this other guy named Frank Streety, right? This guy could shake you, man. He'll turn you around. You don't realize that you took your pants off. You like, oh, dang. You know what I mean? His only problem is he couldn't shoot, but he could shake you like Allen Iverson can shake you. He can shake you worse than that. Oh,
You take your shoelaces out your shoe, huh?
That's exactly right. He'll tell you to tie him up tight because that ankle gonna be broke. Yeah, no, those some real guys right there. That guy Joe Hammond too. Y'all ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Oh man, this is some crazy stuff, boy. There's one time I had watched Willis Reed go to this park called West Fork Park out there. And I was a little dude, but this guy Herman the helicopter. When they say that people can touch the top of the backboard, and nobody really touches the top of the backboard, this guy's 6'7". He could touch the top of the back. He could touch his fingers to get up to the top of that backboard.
Mm.
Yeah, he threw Willis Reed shot away one time. Willis Reed had to elbow him in the face.
All right, world. I got one quick question, and I think you just brought it up. Who you taking, Willis Reed or Wes Unseld?
That's tough.
Yeah. That is a tough one. That is a tough one. They are both beasts, same size, champions, enforcers.
Yeah.
Who you taking, world? I just want to know.
I got to plead the fifth on that. I know it's
all right. I got you. I got to take you up because that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one though. Before you go, but let me one story about Wes Unseld.
Yeah,
he says the meanest picks in the world. I ran into Wes Unseld's pick, full speed, coming down. It was a full court game, and I was coming down, and Wes Unseld, I didn't see him either. I ran smack into him. Bam. Felt like a cartoon character, man, where I felt. Like, I fell to the ground. Yeah, I fell to the ground, man, like somebody punched me in the face.
Shoulder and neck all messed up, huh?
Shoulder damn near shattered.
Might as well have been in a car wreck, man. I might have got out better.
Real.
Oh man. Well, thanks, guys.
All right, we just got a few more.
Okay.
And then we'll move up. So, is there anything that you wish that was more talked about in your career, your life?
Well, that basically, but people know about me that I'm one of the kind of guys that would give my shirt off my back to a person, and all I want is like peace, man, and really basically. Like Stevie Wonder said it better than anybody, you know what I mean? With these three words, I love you, you know what I mean? When you leave your house, when you leave your kids, parents, gotta always just tell them you love them. You know what I mean? It's just so important. And I feel that kind of stuff, man, is we don't use it enough. And if you use it, people ain't using it in the right way, So with myself, I just I'm just a good dude, I don't bother nobody. I'm not a violent guy, you know what I mean? I just like to go ahead and just have people laugh and have fun and enjoy yourself. Julius Erving always said in his interviews about me, he always said 15 minutes with worlds like you known them forever. so it's that's just the way I am. I just enjoy life, man. And I thank God for giving it to me and giving me a chance to go ahead and give what he gave to me, man. You know what I mean? He brought me back from where I was, and that's only one story about when I'm falling out of here. But he brought me back a couple of times. You know what I mean? And I know it's a God, so I have nothing else to say but that.
God is good.
You embody your last name, huh? Very grounded, very free, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. I like my thing is I like to move around. I like to travel. I don't like to sit around too much and just do nothing. I'm gonna be 70 next year,
Man,
So
congratulations.
yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Congrats.
thank you. So God keep me here. I can see that. So I feel good. I feel real good.
All right. This is called Rhino's Vision, and I just kind of want just an in detail of a specific play, but in your case, this is pretty special because I want to talk about your shot. Your shot was pretty much unguardable, and that's where, like I talked about before, I kind of compared it to like a George Gervin finger roll or a Kareem hook, right? Or like a floater from a guard. Can you just explain like how you developed like your shot to pretty much be like unblockable so you can get your points off because you were one of the game's biggest scorers. So like please give in depth about just your shot and just like the difference when you have something like that. Like for me, right, I had a short hook, so I knew bigs couldn't block it all the time. So I knew I had an advantage when I get my shoulder in you. It's over for the shot blocker. Now I'm going up and you won't be able to block it. So please, in detail, just express how you was just able to get buckets.
Well, I tell you, that shot came from my brother. My brother shot like that, and he went to Tuskegee in Alabama,
Wow.
school, and
That's dope.
yeah, and he used to always put the ball behind his head when he shot it, but it would be back here. He couldn't block it, but he really couldn't jump real high, right? So I said to myself, if I can develop that, because I have a 40-point vertical leap off the
Yeah.
ground, I can get it because before I went and tried my brother's shot, I was shooting it regular, and I wasn't really jumping off the ground, and I had the ball always pinned on this here forehead. That's why I ain't got no hair here right now. Man, slapping that bad boy back, you know what I mean? So, so I said I got to change this up. So I went and I worked, and then I went with a special coach, a coach by the name of Gil Reynolds. Everybody in New York and in Brooklyn, he's a legendary coach. Everyone knows this guy. Harlem, all over, because this is out. But he passed, but he was the guy who taught me with that jump shot. Now, my high school coach was a good shooter named Mark Reiner. He was a great shooter, but this guy took his time and went into me, Gil Reynolds. And I remember he had me in the park, and I was shooting the set shot, jump shot. That's why I was getting smacked back here, but I was shooting the set shot, jump shot. And he told me, he was like, and he was one of them like drill sergeant guys, because he did come from the Army. He still had that in him. He was like, I'm going to tell you something, boy. You're going to shoot a jump shot, boy. You're going to shoot that jump shot. You're going to get off the ground, boy. You know what I mean? So, so I'm like, and that's how he said it. And so I'm like, man, I'm trying. So this guy, he was big too, built. So every time I shot the set shot, jump shot, we playing 1-on-1, he would hit me in the chest. Boom. You know what I mean? I'm a hard dog, boom. He would foul you, man. And so I'm like, dang, man. He said, jump. You got to jump on your shot. You got to jump. So, I'm playing him. So one time he busted my lip, man. Hit me. But that's the way he played. You know what I mean? So I said to myself, damn, if I don't get off the ground, man, this man's going to kill me, man, before it's all over to put this practice.
For real.
Yeah. He was just that kind of coach. So by the time, then we get around around a year go by. I get back on this team. It's a summer team, summer league team. So I get back on this team, and he working me out again. Man, so now he's just hitting me like right down here, as opposed to like when my face.
There, yeah.
I'm jumping higher. So now, I'm saying, all right, I'm getting the hang of this shit now. So now I make my move, boom, boom. Now I'm jumping high. Now he hit me on my waistline.
Yeah.
Because I'm up there now. I don't even see them anymore. When I'm jumping to shoot my jumper, guys used to tell me, say, "Well, when you shoot your jumper, it's like you're the only one up in the air." You know what I mean? Because I'm up there so high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I basically got started. With getting my jump shot the way it was, and putting it behind my head, what came from my brother. But the other part, he helped me to go ahead and see who I was, basically, and be able to handle that somebody hitting you and still making your shot. And that's why I was pretty good at it. When the league came, because I played with them guys when they was beating you up.
Yeah.
Physically beating you up.
Yeah.
So I can handle it.
Thank you for that, for Rhino's vision.
All right, next we got the Give a Dog a Bone segment. It's just a bunch of rapid fire questions for our listeners to get to know you as a person better. I'll start it off for the Underdogs podcast. We got to know what your favorite dog breed is.
Rottweiler.
Favorite musical artist.
I used to have R. Kelly, but I ain't gonna have that now. But I'm gonna go old school. I'm gonna go old school now. I'm gonna go with Temptations.
Okay, all right. Okay. Was not prepared for that. All right.
Favorite. I'm one of them kind of guys. It just comes out.
Favorite shoe.
Favorite shoes. Stacey Adams.
Okay, Melvin. Stacey Adams.
Yeah. Stacey Adams. Yeah. That's me. That's me.
Yep.
All right. Favorite city to play in.
New York.
All right.
New York.
Who do you think the best dunker of all time is?
Dr. J. As far as from distance floating, and see, Dr. J to me, from knowing him and watching him, see, he don't just he's a better game dunker than the slam dunker guy from doing the slam dunk competitions.
Yeah.
But he do some things in the game that he didn't do on them slam dunk competition games. But I seen him do some incredible dunks. So yeah, I think Dr. J for me.
Awesome. I'm jealous you got to witness that in person. That must have been incredible.
For real.
Yeah. Outside of basketball, what would you say your favorite hobby is?
Music.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the hardest player you ever had to guard?
George Iceman Gervin.
Who did you say the best defender versus you was? So who was a guy that, if you saw you had to play his team in a couple of days, you'd be prepping for it?
Dennis Johnson. They used to play with the Boston Celtics.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
okay.
Dennis Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Did you have a least favorite city or stadium to play in?
I kind of did work in all of them.
That's a real answer. Just leave it at that. I did work in all of them.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
If you still want a favorite, but I really
No.
Oh, that's it.
I like that answer.
Yeah,
I like that answer. I love that answer.
That's similar. That's similar to what Iceman said.
Yeah,
that's a real bar right there.
Yeah,
that's a real bar.
And you'll like this too. When we asked Iceman who the hardest player to guard was, his answer was, "I didn't play defense."
Yeah, he did. You know what the defense was? When Ice played D, it was like you get 2, he getting 4.
Mm-hmm. It's his offense.
That's his offense.
Offense is good defense, huh?
That's it. His old man. You know what I mean? Once he got started, boy, ooh. Save the women and children.
Save the women and children.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Yeah, mine is like Uptown Saturday Night with Bill Cosby and those guys.
Okay.
That's a movie. That's a movie y'all guys haven't seen.
No, Jordan hasn't seen it. We've seen it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you.
Guilty.
I got you.
Uptown Saturday Night, let's do it again.
Yeah, there you go. There you
I'm
go.
gonna add it to the
There you go.
list.
You rocking. You rocking.
I
You
mean,
rocking.
I used to watch him when he was Leonard.
Oh,
Yeah, this first superhero. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, my brother.
I love the history, right? Because we don't get nowhere without knowing our history. And
There
like
you go.
that, what I would say, what we three do, we learn our history for sure.
All right. Now that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about. You guys gonna go far, man. Y'all gonna go far. No, yeah, you gonna history is very important.
Gotta know where you come from.
Gotta know it. So especially so you don't repeat it either.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
That's true too. True fact.
Who is your favorite current player?
My favorite current player right now would be LeBron James.
Okay. Who would you say your favorite all-time player is?
Favorite all-time player would be Bernard King.
Ooh, that's
I
a good
love
one.
Bernard King.
Bernard King.
Love Bernard King.
That man.
You got to play with him too, right?
Yeah, I got to play with him in Golden State.
Yeah, that's sick.
And when he left Golden State and went to New York, oh man, they put the king crown on him in the daily
they put
newspaper.
the king crown. Yeah, they sure did. He the man. Oh, Bernard Cole.
All right.
He's
Who is
the bad man?
Who's the biggest underdog you've ever played with?
Biggest underdog?
Or someone that didn't get the respect they deserved?
Okay, that's a better question. Somebody didn't get the respect they deserve. They don't have to be a guard or something, right? It can be a forward.
Anyone, yeah.
Anyone? I think Daryl Dawkins. He didn't get the respect that he deserved.
Awesome. All right. And if you could, is there anything you would change about your career?
About my career?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have shot it a little bit more.
That's a cold answer.
I love that.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that to you too is like I look at the shots that all these guys take from Michael, from Allen, from all the shooters. These guys put up more shots than I did.
Yeah.
I put up less shots than these guys and still got my point total where I was.
And maybe a higher percentage too. Maybe a higher field goal percentage too.
Yeah, me and Reggie Miller were talking in the gym, and Reggie was telling his analyst person, yeah, where you took more shots than me, and all that there, right? So this is real. We in the gym. So his analyst went back and looked it up. Yeah. He came back to Reggie and said, "Nah, Reggie." You took more shots.
You did. Yeah.
Yeah, you
talking about Reggie?
Yeah, it's just that he scored more points with his less shots. so that is, but shooting is part of the game.
Yep.
All right. And what is something you wish fans knew or understood better? Whether that be about your life, you, the life in the NBA, anything. I'll leave that open ended.
Well, I wish that they just thought they knew that when I came to the game, I came for them, and I wanted to play for them when I played. When I see people, I enjoy it because if they enjoy watching what I do, I like to go ahead and always give them the best that I can give them, and that's what I did.
That's awesome. Craig, I'll pass it over to you.
Second to last question: what's your funniest NBA moment? You have some pretty funny ones already, but I know you got some more.
All right, you ready for this one?
Let's hear it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Now, me and Daryl Dawkins, like I told you, we're best friends, right? And we partied. Our rookie year, we partied. We did what we had to do. So I didn't really play as much in the beginning. Me and him, we didn't really play as much. So we went out to a club and we stayed out basically like all night, for the club and party.
Yeah.
So we get back. We had a game the next day, but we knew we was gonna play. So we came and I came in, and I still had I put my warm up on, and sneaks, and I still had my stuff that I wore to the party. So we came back the same day. So because I knew I was getting in the game, but I had my warm up though, in the sneaks. So me and Darryl, we on the layup line. Gene Shoe, the coach. So we we laid the ball up, blah blah blah. And so Gene getting to the game, we're playing, and it was about like about a good 20 seconds left in the game. We down 1 point. So the crowd going crazy, you know what I mean? Doug Collins getting foul trouble. Gene all of a sudden looks down the bench and goes, "World!" He never called my name before. And he said, "World." And I'm sitting there like, because I got on my other clothes. I don't have no uniform on underneath. I didn't expect to even get. I didn't expect to get in the game. I didn't expect for the man to call me. I didn't think he knew my name. That man called me, man. He called me, and so then he called. Darryl looked at me, and I looked at Darryl like, "Uh-oh." So when he called me again, I just put my head down like this, man. Can't do it. Can't do it. So I didn't get to play for another 2 months. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
I got fined and everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got fined and everything, man. They knew I didn't. They knew I had my stuff on.
But did they know Daryl did too, or no?
No, I didn't dime him out.
Yeah, see?
I ain't dime him out. Come on, man. Besides that, he's too big. He would have kicked my butt. Nah, I wasn't gonna dime him out, man. Where I come from, we don't dime you out.
Nope, we don't. Yep.
Yeah. So it was all good, man. But yeah, that was one of my ones I always remember. Always
awesome.
remember. He did have one too. Now Darryl had a because Darryl, when he came out of Florida, they can eat and everything, eat and drink everything, because he said they tough down there, right? And I said, well, Darryl, look, we was at a Chinese restaurant one time, right? So I said, Darryl, I said, and the mustard back, that hot mustard they have in the Chinese restaurant?
Yeah.
Oh man, back then the mustard was like fire. It's not this diluted stuff that they got now in the Chinese restaurant. Man, the mustard back then, man, it make your hair grow. You know what I'm saying? So I had I was with Darryl. I said, Darryl, I said, yo man, man, I bet you $100. We sitting down at the table in the Chinese restaurant. I said, I bet you $100, man, that you can't drink this Chinese mustard. Darryl like, because Darryl was always like, yeah, see, I do everything. I do everything. Yeah. So I said, he said, $100? $100 world? I said, $100, man, that you can't drink this here mustard. So he said, all right, it's on. So we in the hotel, right? He sipped that mustard, get it down. So I'm looking at him because I know that stuff was hot. Next thing you know, beads of sweat start coming down like his head, right? The bean man looked like he was in the pool, just jumped out of the pool, and I'm like, oh shoot, hey. But he ain't yell, he ain't say nothing, you know what I mean? And that mustard could cut your breath circulation off down there. So he didn't say anything. So we get to the hotel room, right? And at that time we had roommates, so we was all, we stayed together. So that was about like 2 seconds after getting in that room. Man, that man, he get to the bathroom, he go in there, all I heard was like, oh, oh. Like fire came out that mother's mouth. I said, oh, shit.
Like a dragon, huh?
His eyes are red. His eyes are red. Oh man, that guy killed me, man. If you would have seen his face, oh man, that was so funny, man. This guy, but he did it. I had to give him the 100.
That's awesome.
I had to give him
that sounds worth it, though. That sounds very worth it.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right. We will end this podcast as we do with all of our episodes. What would you say your biggest lesson you've learned is throughout your entire journey?
My biggest lesson I learned throughout my entire journey, I'm still going.
Mm. Mm. That's dope. I like that answer. I like that answer.
Yeah.
Being a journeyman and just knowing that there's more to learn, there's more to grow. You know what I'm saying? You're never too old to be taught and to teach. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly right.
Or to
My
have
brother.
new goals, new dreams, new aspirations.
My brother.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's how it is. You know what I mean? We can only be happy
In the
with what
moment.
we do, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, God gave you the talent to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? And you guys, you ain't quit when you stop basketball. You're still doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you could have gave up and just said that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you didn't do that. You guys are pushing yourselves, and I respect you for that.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Much
guys
love.
again. This is going to do it for episode 25 of the Underdogs podcast. Make sure you click that subscribe button down below. Again, thank you to World Be Free for coming on. This was an awesome episode, and I cannot wait to post this. So yeah, see you guys next time.
Happy Black History Month, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
My brother.